Hi, today we're going to be learning the song Be the Center by Michael Frye. It's back from 1999, so the song's kind of classic now. It's been around for a while. And I'm going to give you kind of just the general way of playing this song. So here's one version. My strum pattern is going to be for the verses, because that's kind of like on the original recording there's just toms going doom 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 da da doom 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 ba da doom. So I'm kind of mimicking that in my strumming of it. You see my hand keeps going up and down, and occasionally I'll do a strum, but I like to keep this hand kind of moving on somewhat of a steady pace. That way I kind of keep in that flow, even though I'm not hitting the strings every time. So it's like this. Jesus, be the center, be my source, be my life, Jesus. Be the center, be my hope, be my song, Jesus. Be the fire in my heart, be the wind in these sails, be the reason that I live, Jesus, Jesus. Be my vision, be my path, be my guide, Jesus. Jesus, be my vision, be my path, be my guide, Jesus. Be the fire in my heart, be the wind in these sails, be the reason that I live, Jesus, so a couple of things to point out there. A lot of times I'm playing the D2 instead of a full D chord. One of the things about modern music is often there's no third played in the chord. And that just kind of makes it a little bit more open sounding, a little less traditional, a little less classical sounding. So instead of playing this chord, I'm just taking this middle finger here off and playing open. And that kind of adds, the more strings you can have that are open and ringing, the more of that kind of a sound it's going to have, this kind of sustained sound. And I'm also going, instead of, again, I'm the kind of person that likes to be as simple as I can, in the sense that I like to move my fingers as little as possible. So I'm going from this D right here, And instead of going to either the full A, going from here to here, instead of doing all that movement, which isn't that much, but it's still definitely a big shift, I go from the D2 to an A7 suspended, which is just that. So I'm playing this chord to an A7 to an A7 suspended. And what it's doing is just it's providing kind of these two notes, the high sounding notes, as a pedal note. So I go from here to here. These are still, the bottom two, the highest sounding notes are still the same. And then I go to the G over B, back to the D. So it kind of provides as little movement as possible and as much ring as possible. So again, this A7 suspended, basically just take your finger from the D2 chord and move it up one string. It's really easy. On the chorus and on the Be the Fire part, sometimes I went to the A2 chord. Again, I hardly ever play the full A chord. It just sounds too old. So the A2, in my heart, be the wind, in the sails, be the reason. And if you're going from this chord, which is like the A7 suspended, except for it's not an A7, it's just an A suspended. Taking that, and again my shortcut chord, to a B minor. I love this B minor chord where you just take your first finger and you move it up one string and you're at a B minor 7 chord. I like little movement, so I can go from be the fire, be the reason that I live, the reason. Just one finger moves up to the B minor chord, Jesus, back down to there, and then to the Jesus. One thing I did notice also, always looking for places to let the song breathe. So that's why I keep having that dun, 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 dun. So there's so much space in the song, and it's still ringing. You can still hear it. It's not like I'm going. It'd be kind of odd, right? But with the ring, it's great. But doing that at the end of the verses, where you either go where you kind of set up the sections. The end of the verse, the end of the chorus, be the reason that I live, Jesus, Jesus. So doing that upstring, the upstroke, Jesus, kind of signals, oh, something's happening, a shift is coming, there's a different section happening. Or you can do it a different way, going, reason that I live, Jesus. Kind of doing a little stop and then a break. Jesus, Jesus. And I do this real subtle mute after the G chord. Jesus. So there's just a little bit of space, and then strumming. Kind of instead of strum like just one shot where you're kind of hitting them almost all at the same time, you're individually really quickly kind of arpeggiating them. Ba-da-da. Sounds different then. Right? So it just kind of sets up, oh, there's something different happening. The last thing that I did was just something every once in a while I'll do. This is an A chord, I think. D, G. Suspended. And it just adds this kind of an energy. It's kind of the same thing as a bass player, taking it up the octave. I'll do that sometimes, maybe on the turnaround of one of the verses, to add some energy. So, Jesus, be my vision, be my path, be my God, Jesus. some energy. So when you're playing it in such a way that it's really open and there's not a whole lot of rhythm going on, a whole lot of constant strumming, there's a lot of ring happening. When you do add in rhythm like that triple strum or that little extra thing, it's just like, you know, it can flower, it can be featured now instead of just being because you could play the song, you know, Jesus, be the center, be my source, be my life, Jesus. And that's how a lot of people would play it, and it would be right. It would just be like, man, you have nowhere to go. The song can't even breathe. It's just underwater the whole time. And if you're going, it just has beauty to it. So that's Be the Center. Thanks for watching.